Hello, everybody. Welcome to ForceCenter. We've got some kind of breaking news. I'm Ken Napzok.
And I'm Jen Landa.
We say kind of because it actually was yesterday, but sometimes you can't just fire up the cameras and jump to your computer studios and get to it. But Jen, we're here to talk about a Hollywood Reporter exclusive scoop. And I'll talk a little bit why sometimes we don't talk about rumors and other times we talk about reporting done by the Hollywood Reporter. But Ryan Gosling is in talks to join the Sean Levy Star Wars project. Jen, there's a lot to that, but your initial gut reaction to that, then I'll dive into some points to ponder.
They called it the Star Wars shocker. That's what the headline was. And it was kind of shocking. And I saw this being circulated on Blue Sky yesterday. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then when I saw the source, I went, oh, all right, maybe this is actually happening. Because we've been hearing about this Sean Levy project for a while now.
We have. And there's some points to ponder in this story. Number one, Ryan Gosling is in talks. Which usually, by the time a beat reporter, and Boris Kitt was the lead on this story, as well as Pamela McClintock, but Boris Kitt's been around for a year, so if the beat reporter gets it, in talks means it could happen. It's a pretty strong chance, but we want to highlight it's in talks. We also want to highlight the Sean Levy film has never officially been announced and confirmed as happening. But he's been talking about it. We know that Jonathan Tropper, author of one of my favorite novels, Plan B, is in as a co-writer. They've been developing it for the last year or so, and Levy's been working on it for maybe the last 2 years. We always like to say, hey, wait till it's official. At this point, Jen, quick reaction from you. I have enough, and I have enough whispers around the world to make me believe a film with Sean Levy is happening. You have anything to say for or against that?
At this point, it has to happen. Like, it's become kind of silly that it hasn't been announced, but I understand they don't want to announce it and then have something happen like has been happening with the Rey film, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like this big splashy announcement and then it's not coming till however many years later. So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But it is, if they do announce it and they have a big splashy star to announce with it, that will get the hype machine going.
Yeah. I want to come back to that in a second. I at some point, I'm just going to be straight up grumpy with Lucasfilm, and maybe today's that day. The project, as you know, went from Sean Levy kind of talking about it, saying I'd like to do this, to maybe in development, to a co-writer announced, and Gosling's interest, according to Hollywood Reporter, is speeding up the production timeline to the point that this might even be the next film after Mandalorian and Grogu. Again, totally unconfirmed, speculation from inside the industry and Hollywood Reporter there. I'm sure other people, including scoopers who are trying to put food on the table, will have some more information on that. But we'll see. We also got Star Wars Celebration Tokyo, where maybe they redo some announcements. And then the final thing to talk about, and maybe we start here, Jen, because it is the story. This is Gosling here. This is Ryan Gosling. This is a rare A-lister casting in especially Star Wars films. I think you could say in TV, I mean, I would count Ewan McGregor as an A- lister at this point. Maybe it's not Train Spotting or late 90s Ewan, but he's still a movie star. So let's dive into the Gosling of it all first. Where you stand on this?
I'm really, really excited, and I really want it to be true. I think it's a very smart decision when it's already tough to get people to the theaters. Obviously, it's Star Wars. We know that they're going to get people in the theater, but this takes it to another level. It elevates it. And I think Ryan Gosling has proved himself since the Mickey Mouse Club, right?
Yes.
He
Yes.
is a true, not only just an actor, he's a performer, as we saw with La La Land. He can go dark. He can be funny and self-deprecating. So he knows how to balance comedy and action and drama in a way that not a lot of actors can do. And that's what has made him kind of become the A-lister that he is. Plus, he's married to Eva Mendes. So, I like him for that.
There you go. Yeah. And by all accounts, we don't hang out with these people, but all accounts, a true nice guy. Yeah, you're talking about things I love here. Just looking at his resume, and we were doing that off air, just kind of both going through the IMDb, going, "Oh, young Hercules, that's right, I do remember that," and the Notebook and everything, and the explosion. But look, it's. I'll say this, like Brad Pitt comes to mind, who is, I don't think, a person I want to hang out with. Doesn't seem like the nicest of chaps, but in terms of his career, he is a hunk, young Hollywood star who I think worked hard to move past that label. It's a label. Look, would I love to be called a hunk and that I have to work to get out from under that? Maybe it's a hard cross to bear. It's one I've never had to do. But I think I look at someone like Pitt and I'm like, yeah, he could be. He's an actor. Let's not stop at the looks. Gosling, good looking chap. Totally get it. Cool cat. I have a crush on him from him just performing at the Oscars, singing the "I'm Just Ken" song, and I love the Barbie movie, and I love how he represents Ken's. But look at Blade Runner 2049. He knows how to do this kind of genre. And yes, that's more sci-fi than that. But The Nice Guys, he could go however you want to go with him. I think he could go. Whether it's a Jedi in action, a grizzled Jedi, a scoundrel, politician, a love interest. It could be all of it. And that's what I'm excited. It's not just a big name. It's a great actor.
Agreed. And one of my favorite films of his is Lars and the Real Girl.
Yeah.
That was a great performance, and it really showed his depth and range. And so I feel like he's really proved himself that he's not just pretty face, as you're saying.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that he's coming back to fun. I want to see him as like Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy, like a scoundrel. That's the kind of role I want for him in a Star Wars movie. I want him to just be charming as all heck, but having a dark side, and we want to root for him, but maybe he's a little bad. I don't know. Kind of like what we saw with Jude Law.
Jen, you got to the same point I was getting at. Like when you were talking, like, to watch what Jude Law did, just the charisma, you're kind of rooting for him, even though maybe you don't trust him. Or as we learned this week, Molly Damon from episode 1 was like, no, I hate him. He's bad. And turns out maybe she was right. But yeah, he would be able to bring all of that. And I would want, this is the thing, like I would want, if this happens, Gosling to be an A-list star in this film.
Yes.
Don't hide him in a bunch of makeup or grizzled in a cave, or like give him a lightsaber if he wants it, make it happen, and make him one of the leads. That's what I'd want with a Gosling. If you're going to get a Gosling, let him be Gosling.
It's a different formula for Star Wars that notoriously they've cast unknowns. I mean, look at J.J. Abrams have found some fantastic young performers, obviously George Lucas. But the thing about Skeleton Crew with Jude Law, there is something when you bring a seasoned actor, when you bring a movie star, boy, to me, he really elevated Skeleton Crew. It was phenomenal with the cast and the chemistry of the kids. But he brought the talent, right, and really made the material sing. So I think that it would be something different, but I think it's kind of much needed to kind of reinvigorate and shake things up in Star Wars.
Yeah, and yeah, look, without a doubt, part of Star Wars' history and legacy is unknowns or leveling people up. Oscar Isaac had been around for a bit and done some films that people liked and projects that people liked, but hey, Poe kind of moves him up to the next level. John Boyega, Attack the Block, and everything. He was out there. Daisy Ridley, we all remember kind of she was like a bartender when she found out, though she had done some work, had one headshot that was passed around to the press, and this made her a star. But going back to the prequels, particularly Phantom Menace, Liam Neeson, even Natalie Portman at the time was not unknown. Ewan McGregor, Sam Jackson, Jimmy Smits later on in 2 and 3.
Yeah.
I think it worked there, and it was effective there. And Liam Neeson, I'm not saying he was the Gosling of his time. He was a little different. Maybe early on, maybe around was Invisible Man, maybe around that time. But it can work. And even though there is this feeling I have of like, A-lister, is that going to be distracting? Going back to what you said about Jude Law, how many times during our Skeleton Crew report did all of us just kind of go, oh, that's right, he's a movie star, and that's why it's working.
Exactly. And I think in terms of the business side of things, this is why things are going to get fast tracked, because suddenly when you have this name attached, I mean, this is what directors always struggle with at any level. Right. It's like, who can you get attached to your project that can get you money and get you to, get picked up or whatever. Obviously, we have a great studio with Lucasfilm, but I feel like this brings them up to the top of the pile. After Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah, I mean, the reports of it speeding up the production process makes sense to me. And, on the other side, I don't like to contrast and compare Star Wars to Marvel, but there's some connections there. Marvel has done a lot of, I'll say, A-list casting. How many times have we been like, Anthony Hopkins is going to be super? They got Cate Blanchett. And it's right. For the most part, it has worked. So I don't want Star Wars to jump to that model, but I'm excited about this. I'm excited more than I This is why it's working. I'm excited about this project now today, way more than I was before this news broke, just because I'm
Yeah.
intrigued. I've been nervous, and I continue to be nervous that this will somehow replace or push the Charmin Abed-Chenoy directed Daisy Ridley led movie to the back burner, or completely erase it. Or so I don't, and this doesn't
Mm.
waylay those theories. But some of the whispers I've been hearing are like, "Nah, don't worry, it's two separate tracks right now." Any
Mm.
concerns about that? And any other thoughts about just this film and your excitement level now?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this film. I wasn't poo-pooing it. I was like, yeah, wake me up when it happens. But now I feel like it's got to happen, and now I have to have Ryan Gosling to
Yeah.
be the star of it. If he's not, I'm going to be disappointed. But in terms of the Ray film,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it being pushed back a little bit, only because I think it's important that we have new in
Hmm.
Star Wars. The Mandalorian and Grogu, there are some fears that it might be just kind of like the extension of the next season. Like,
Right.
it's
Right.
not like, you know what I mean? It's kind of more of a safe choice.
Mm-hmm.
So
It was.
and Ray is obviously a legacy character. So if Ryan Gosling's portraying a new character, we have a new director, right? He hasn't
Hmm.
done anything with Star Wars before.
Leaving
Never,
that. No.
right?
No. 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 Just
No.
Deadpool, Wolverine,
Right.
Stranger Things, Real Steel. Don't forget
So
Real Steel.
real still. So he's in the family, right? In the
Yeah.
family, so to speak. But yeah,
He
like I
made
just
Disney a lot of money last year.
yeah, another reason to fast track him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. I think I actually would actually prefer this movie to be
Mm.
before the Mandalorian and Grogu, but
Uh,
it is what it is.
that's an interesting take. Now based on this in talks information about Ryan Gosling, yeah, it might change the game. I think Mandalorian Grogu is coming out next, and I'm fine with that. But Mandalorian Grogu is exactly what you said. It is a calculated, safer bet. Everything's still a bet. Some of the rumors coming out, we know they're out there. We're just waiting until they become a little bit more official. But at this point, Embo is the villain, all that kind of stuff. Like, there's some stuff we're really intrigued about here. But I agree with you now. This I don't think this is going to come first, but this could be a home run behind it. It could be the cleanup hitter of the lineup to talk baseball, maybe.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you had talked about it earlier, and I think it's one of the final big points. It keeps coming up. We know the history since the sale, 2012, the history of Star Wars films in development, Star Wars films in turnaround, Star Wars films being pulled, directors being pulled, directors being fired. There is a history. As much as you and I both love Star Wars overall and love crawling around in the Disney era, whether or not people understand that or not, it's our truth. We love it. It's been mostly successful for us. You can't deny some of the problems. Rian Johnson's trilogy, Benioff and Weiss, things change. I stand by the Lord and Miller change. I stand by the Trevorrow change. I think Kathleen Kennedy did right by those decisions, whether people agree or not, up to debate. But at this point, you said it. At this point, why is it not just officially confirmed? Why is it not? And do you think it's just fear? Did they need to listen to Yoda or Luke confronting the fears, the destiny of a studio? At this point, with so many people giving away the milk for free, why not just say it's happening? And maybe they're waiting for this, but I don't know.
Oh, I think it's his agents and managers that still haven't signed the contract. I think
Yeah.
they're close. I think that the deal is closing.
Yeah.
And I think he probably wants to do it, but it's probably money before they've officially done it. But yeah, Star Wars, I don't want to say Star Wars has been struggling, because it has not been struggling, but that's been the narrative
Right.
that a lot of people online, including the trades, have been saying. The Acolyte didn't do well, blah, 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 blah. Having an A-lister attached to this project suddenly makes Star Wars look a lot shiny, and almost like, dare I say, quote unquote, Star Wars is back. Star Wars has always been here, but there is something that, if he is truly a part of this project, I want Lucasfilm to make lots of noise to quiet all the chatter that's been happening, because we love Star Wars. We love what's been happening, but there is kind of this idea that Star Wars is not, has been falling behind or whatever, slumping.
Yep. And sometimes perception is the reality. And Skeleton Crew is perhaps one of my favorite things ever in Star Wars. If not overall, it's one of my favorite shows to watch. And that's not necessarily the show's not necessarily going to change that narrative right now. And as the industry doesn't know quite what to do with streaming and moving forward, going back to the theaters definitely seems like the big oopsie for a lot of this town. Like, ooh, maybe we lean too hard into the watching things on our phones here. This is
Mm.
the right way to do it. I think Mandalorian Grogu, taking one of the biggest things to emerge over the last 5-6 years, put in the theaters, great. And then what you're saying here of, hey, look, we are a player. Don't overlook us. And could be some excitement around this project. And when Joseph comes back, we can talk more about Levy, what he might bring, and the Deadpool and Wolverine of it all, and comedy. I think he's a good mix. I love what he's done on Stranger Things. I love a lot of his work here. But just overall, I think that the Gosling things, while we're focusing on it, it's interesting and it's important. And for me, like in terms of the announcements, I get it. Every time, even Taika Waititi's off in the corner doing God knows what with his script, and that didn't pan out. The Benioff and Weiss, it's hard. I don't know a ton of details, but I know enough that there was a little bit of people were pissed off that they took the backdoor deal with Netflix. The Johnson thing was we're so sorry, oopsie, would you do this instead of Direct 9? And it's a different era now. So I like Lucasfilm playing it close to the vest. That's kind of why we wait for StarWars.com announcements or at least legacy trades. But we had so much fun at Celebration. We have those movies. We have Kinberg's trilogy, still far off, which is still intriguing. And now this. Let's do it then. Maybe they wait for Celebration. Did the contracts get signed, Jen? And Gosling walks out with the lightsaber at Celebration.
Oh my gosh. No, this has to happen. Please. I feel like there would be positivity around this. If it was officially announced, I feel like it would be overwhelmingly positive, which we really, really need in the fandom right now.
We do. Final thought here, Jen. Look, I know there's rumors that that Ray might be in this film. There's thankfully rumors that Ray would be in pretty much every project going forward, which I'm a big fan of that idea. I would love to explore that, but I hope the focus is on what we've been calling the new Jedi Order film with Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. But if we could have a dream, silly co-casting for Gosling in a Star Wars film, is it Rachel McAdams? Is it Emma Stone? Is it Eva Mendes? Is it Hugh Jackman? Who do you want opposite? If it isn't Daisy Ridley, it is that. Who's your dream, silly, never going to happen stuff? Is it Margot Robbie? There's a lot of choices.
Oh my gosh. Hugh Jackman would be really, really fun.
Is it?
Boy.
Is that too big? Does that just explode Star Wars too far out into the normal world where you're watching Hugh Jackman, Gosling, Reynolds? Throw them all in there.
Yeah. Can you imagine going from Marvel to Star Wars? That would be something else. Gosh, boy. Now I want Hugh Jackman or someone of that caliber. Right?
Okay. And my final sub question is, do you want this to be the first ever Star Wars film to include a song?
Oh, geez.
Sung by Ryan Gosling. I'm Just a Jedi. Some kind of jazz number. Is this the chance? We've had some songs in the background. We're all looking at you, Lefty Neck. We're all looking at you, Yub Nub and Ewoks. Is this the time to put a song in Star Wars?
I kind of love that idea. People hate on the Star Wars holiday special because Ekman sings a song.
Say goodnight, friends.
Yeah, come on. You got Ryan Gosling. Do a little song in a cantina. Just 30 seconds.
Yeah, part of this. I don't want him to break into song. I don't want him to be a straight up musical, but my dream has always been, when's Lady Gaga going to be in Star Wars and play some singer who spies on the Empire or something like that and just have her singing. So, this is what we got to do with Gosling. A Star Wars jizz wailing club, and he's in there on the harpsichord singing. That's what I want.
Oh, my gosh. Now I want Lady Gaga. Just make it a star-studded cast.
There you go. Gaga, Gosling, Star Wars. John Levy, make it happen. Well, that's it. That's our quick look at some sort of breaking news here in Star Wars. Thank you for hanging out with us here in ForceCenter. You can find us on social media at ForceCenter Pod. Support our Patreon page at patreon.com/ForceCenter. Links for us and everything else down below. We appreciate you. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up. That's also talk, and answer down below in the comments. What song do you want Gosling to sing in a Star Wars film? All right, that's it. For Jen, I'm Ken. We'll see you next time here on ForceCenter.